Good afternoon. I'd like to welcome you all to this special event this afternoon. We're so pleased to have Presiding Bishop Katharine Jefferts Schori with us and to be able to talk about some of our foreign mission efforts, what we have been doing with regard to the campaign to rebuild the church in Haiti, as well as talk about some new efforts that we're about to launch and put together that continue with the idea of foreign mission here in the Diocese of Quincy, particularly with the regard to the role of women in the world, empowering women, and we'll talk more about that as the afternoon goes on. Well, it won't be the whole afternoon, just a smidgen of it, okay? First of all, I'd like to introduce our own Bishop, Bishop John Buchanan.
My task is to introduce our presiding bishop, which I'm very, very pleased to do. But she's so well known among us that she doesn't need a whole lot of introduction. Bishop Katharine was chosen to be our presiding bishop in 2006. She's 5 years into her ministry to this church. You've heard us describe earlier how we network actually across the globe with the Episcopal Church, an international church, being present in 16 countries of the world. I have the personal privilege of having been appointed as parliamentarian of the House of Bishops by Bishop Katharine, and so if you come to General Convention and come into the House of Bishops to see what's going on, you might find me sitting somewhere nearby. But she's such an able presider that she doesn't need much parliamentary help. Katharine was previously the Bishop of Nevada. She's an oceanographer. She's an airplane pilot. She's married to a wonderful guy whose name is Dick.
You're going to be presenting the check now.
Oh, now? I'm going to do it. Right. This is what we've been working on for a while. The Episcopal Church is engaged in raising $10 million to rebuild the church in Haiti. The Episcopal Church is has a wonderful ministry among the poor, in education. They operate all kinds of schools, a music school, a high school, a university. And so we wanted to be a part of that in our little small Diocese of Quincy, and we set a goal to raise $10,000. I'm here today to present a check to the presiding bishop for more than $10,000. It's actually $11,205 to be a part of that church-wide effort to rebuild Haiti.
Thank you.
Now, what this is a sign of, I've done a survey of the outreach ministries of our congregations, and they're all involved in many forms of outreach, and this just happens to be what we do in the Diocese of Quincy.
Well, God bless you all. It's quite a remarkable statement of interest and passion for helping to heal the church and the whole world. The Episcopal Diocese of Haiti is our largest diocese, somewhere between 100,000 and 150,000 Episcopalians there. Before the earthquake, They were running 254 schools. They had 169 congregations served by 37 clergy. But those schools served more than 80,000 students, all the way from the youngest primary school students to university school students. The complex around the cathedral, which is the primary and first focus of our rebuilding efforts, includes a music school and the only Philharmonic orchestra in Haiti. It is a cultural center for the nation as well. It included a trade school, a vocational school that taught young students auto mechanics and electronics repair and welding and things like that. It included a primary school, a high school, and the university just down the street. It also had a school for handicapped children who are generally not served by what government schools there are. The church in Haiti is a primary provider of educational services and health services in a nation where the government simply is incapable of providing adequate coverage. So your part in that is largely going to mean that people can come and have a place to worship, to give thanks for the cultural vitality of the nation of Haiti, and to see that children and young people are educated and formed for service in God's work of healing in the world. I'm immensely grateful for your part in this. God bless you. And I discovered that check can be erased and increased.
Now, to move on to the second part of our program, I'm really pleased to introduce to you today a woman who many of you will know from work she's done in our diocese, a member of our standing committee who's really headlined this project that we're about to embark on. And so I'm going to ask Kathy Leeson to come up and talk to you more about what we here in Quincy can do to learn more about the situation of women out in the world and in areas of conflict and what we can do to help empower them. Kathy.
Thank you, Tobin. We've heard a great deal this morning already about how global our church is and how global the mission outreach of our church is. One of the things that we have been engaged in for a number of years is our commitment to the United Nations Millennium Development Goals. And one of those goals is the empowerment of women around the world in cultures different from our own. I was excited to find out that we had an opportunity to learn more about what is going on in other parts of the world with that cultural development at the same time that our presiding bishop was coming to visit us. The arm of the Episcopal Church that is engaged in promoting our education and involvement with that Millennium Development Goal for the empowerment of women is called Anglican Women's Empowerment. As part of their efforts, they have recently started a newsletter, and I have copies of that newsletter for anyone who wants to see it, to talk about efforts throughout our church and throughout the world and give us ideas about how we can be engaged. One of those ideas is book club, and I also have the reading list for the books to be discussed by parishes all over the country. The other thing that they have been very engaged in is promoting a PBS miniseries that is starting to be aired on Tuesday nights, October 11th, for 5 weeks. It is entitled Women, War, and Peace. And that miniseries profiles the development of women in 4 war-torn countries. They include Bosnia, Afghanistan, Liberia, and Colombia. The Episcopal Church has developed a study guide for discussion groups to go along with this mini-series and are encouraging us to spread the word to, as parishes, as groups of women, as communities get together for public viewings and discussion. there is much that we can learn to educate ourselves on the plight of women in the world. I think this will help us learn what opportunities are available for us as well, not only to have a greater impact worldwide, but also in our own communities. I am encouraging everyone in our diocese to take the information I have. We have copies of the study guide, one for each of the parishes. There are 9 parishes, communities within our diocese right now, so that women in each of the parishes and men, we are not excluding them, have the opportunity to do the public viewings as a group and participate in discussion for their own learning. What is to become of it is, as I've said earlier, when Tobin asked me, that's the work of the Holy Spirit, is what passions may be ignited among our groups to do greater initiatives both internationally and locally. I am looking forward to the opportunity. The airings, we are very pleased that in the Peoria community, Father John Blossom and Linda Blossom have agreed to host the public viewing in their facility at Bread of Life, which is on Industrial Road in the north side of town, because they have a big screen movie projection technology that most of the rest of us do not have for the public viewing. The airings starting October 11th will be at 9 p.m. It's a little late, and I was a little discouraged to hear that, but it's better than 10 o'clock, which our colleagues in the Eastern time zone have to deal with, and they are still, from what I read in the newsletters and the e-news from Anglican Women's Empowerment, they are still going to get together and have public viewings. I could say I haven't read the book, so to speak, so it will be new information to me. One of the quotes in the trailer, if you go to the PBS website to see the trailer for the movie and the promotional information, is that women in some of these countries have asked men in the process of forming peace to look at the process as if women mattered. And that, to me, is a profound statement on where much of the world is coming from that we would not normally think of. One of the narrators for this PBS miniseries is the actor Matt Damon, and there is also on the trailers an interview with him to promote this series in which he states that it is not just a woman's issue globally. So I encourage all of you. I hope you'll join us. Thank you.
We're very blessed in the diocese here in Peoria. We're going to be able to have this series of viewings for the 5 weeks, courtesy of Bread of Life and Father John Blossom and Linda volunteering their facility, and that's really great. We're encouraging every parish, if you can't travel, I know, all the way to Peoria to attend the public viewings here, to set up a viewing in your own home parish. It doesn't have to be with an overhead projector. You can meet in somebody's home and get together and consider this topic and, again, use the discussion guide and talk about it. And we're hoping that in looking at this issue of women and empowering women and the plight especially of women and girls in these areas of war and conflict and what is happening to them, that as we learn more about it and we study, that we will let the Holy Spirit work through us, but find ways that we can be inspired to become engaged and find ways of working with these areas internationally, as well as these same situations in our own communities where women and girls tend to be victimized. What can we be doing in the communities here at home as well as abroad? I'd like to invite Bishop Katharine to come back up and talk to you a little bit more about this. She spent time in July in the Congo, which is another one of these incredibly difficult areas, an area of war and conflict where women and girls have really been brutalized, and I think she can speak to what she experienced and what role that our sister parishes are playing in reaching out to these women and providing for them.
Thank you.